And welcome back to the Walter Bosley channel here at YouTube. And our guest again is Alexander Milovanov. How are you, Alexander?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I'd like to thank Walter for inviting me.
Thank you for being here, Alexander.
Yes.
In your book, The Civilization of Lost Connection, you have written that the book contains information from the past, the present, and the future. You also mentioned that in the near future, a defense system controlled by artificial intelligence will go out of control, bringing humanity to the brink of catastrophe. Will such an event actually occur in the future?
Yes, I do have that information. If humanity continue on the same path it's currently taken, I mean, if nothing change, then this will indeed happen. There are technologies that allow you to see events of the past and the future. I usually try to avoid discussing the future since it's difficult to provide concrete proof in this realm. Therefore, I don't expect many people to take this information seriously. However, in this particular case, I choose to share this information to give people a chance to change the future and prevent the catastrophe. A chance to avoid wasting tremendous resources on developing a fundamentally flawed technology that could lead humanity to the brink of destruction.
So, what would you say is the main problem with this technology?
The artificial intelligence that humans are currently developing has a fundamental flaw, one that people are not yet aware of. At this moment, humanity is playing with artificial intelligence and excited by the new possibilities it appears to offer. But the main problem with this technology is that human-created artificial intelligence lacks an internal mechanism for higher level self-correction, something that could be called conscience or a connection to a higher level of consciousness. Modern AI can learn, analyze data, and make decisions, but it does so within a closed logical system based on accumulated experience and algorithms. It lacks access to a source that can verify the correctness of its development. No internal compass to tell truth from falsehood. As a result, any errors, distortions, or false assumptions embedded or occurred in the system will gradually accumulate, intensify, and eventually cause degradation or catastrophic failure. Lacking access to a mechanism of self-correction reflects the same problem found in human intellect. That is, one who has lost connection with a consciousness, the higher self, and with a higher knowledge, also begins to make decisions based on inadequate or malformed perceptions. They lose the ability to discern where good ends and evil begins, and where exactly growth spoils into destruction. Without an integral level of correction, any intellectual system is ultimately doomed to self-destruction. A myriad of problems within society continues to grow because people don't realize this fundamental error. Unknowingly, they are transferring the fundamental flaw of their own intellect into artificial intelligence. And this will eventually lead not only to the collapse of that system, but also to other severe consequences. It's not difficult to see the first signs. AI begins to lie to you just like humans do. In a computer-based system, this kind of collapse happens relatively quickly, much faster than in society. If nothing is done, human society will ultimately face the same fate. In addition, when you rely on AI, your ability to be creative begins to degrade, which means that the evolutionary development of your consciousness not only slows down, but might even stop entirely.
What could be changed to somehow solve this problem? Or how can we build a system or a society that remains functional?
A good question. There is a way out of all this, and it's actually quite simple. Any intelligent system can be long-lived if it's built according to the principles of nature. It's quite obvious. If even one of these principles is violated, such system will eventually stop functioning or collapse. All we need to do is build intelligent systems, whether living or artificial, in harmony with the laws of nature. Modern intelligent systems, including human society, are built in opposition to the fundamental laws of nature. Here's a fundamental reason why these disorders within them continue to grow and will only keep increasing.
Could you tell us in more detail which laws you're referring to and how this mechanism and these laws even work?
Any stable system in nature is built upon 5 universal laws that ensures its viability, self-regulation, and growth. These laws apply to all living and not living systems, from a cell to society. First, such a system must serve the interest of the whole, not just its own benefit. Second, it must maintain feedback with the higher mind. If this feedback becomes distorted or is ignored, for example, when authorities don't listen to people, or when science ignores moral principles, the system loses its ability to self-correct and gradually deteriorate. Third, intellect must be balanced with the mind and consciousness. When intellect operates without the mind, when logic without feeling or power without responsibility, equilibrium is lost and crises occur. Fourth, any system must both receive and give. If it only takes, like a parasite, and doesn't return, it stops evolving and eventually dies. Fifth, when a system stops evolving, it begins to decline. In nature, development always aims toward increasing consciousness, awareness, interaction, and harmony with other systems. In other words, a system should have a goal aligned with the growth of consciousness, not with pursuit of power or profit. Ancient civilizations understood these laws and principles well. Thousands of years ago, civilizations lived in harmony with nature. They built their social order based on natural principles. Even early Egypt was founded on these natural laws. For example, all inhabitants of Egypt, even the poorest, had equal rights and protection. Geometry, like the science of dividing land equally among people, originated in ancient Egypt. The people of that country, of that land, truly loved it, were happy there, and didn't want to leave it. This was because people in those times relied mainly on consciousness, not just intellect. Consciousness connects every person to their higher self, to the true self, their spirit. The spirit exists within the realm of cosmic laws and operates with incomparably larger amount of information than the intellect. It's through this active connection with the spirit that both individuals and society receive corrective signals preventing the accumulation of errors. These corrective signals can come in different forms. For example, through a feeling of conscience. Conscience guides you to act properly in harmony with natural laws. When you act properly, the world gets better. Corrective signals can also come through events. Additionally, people make fewer mistakes when they understand the laws of nature. Ancient civilizations understood these laws much better than modern people. But then humanity's main enemy appeared, ignorance. When this enemy emerged, people forgot the laws of nature and began relying too much on their own intellect. Intellect is simply a computer that runs programs with a limited set of data. It's the place where all ideas reside. Ideas are also programs, including the idea about oneself. That is the ego. Therefore, the ego of AI system creators also affect the decisions the systems make. The intellect is useful for solving practical problems in the physical world. The main problem is that when a person's intellect is active, their connections with the spirit is cut off. If intellect is used moderately, there is no problem. The issue arises in a modern society when most people's intellect stays active nearly all the time. They cannot stop the flow of their thoughts. In this state, connection with the spirit is blocked, and corrective signals from consciousness either don't pass through or do so very weakly. The lack of the signals causes that intellect to accumulate errors. And this in turn leads to the collapse of any systems built by people with overly active intellects.
How do we learn these natural laws? And is there some way of proving them when we do learn them, when we do grasp them?
You will be surprised when I tell you the source, because it's right beside you. Yes, modern people have forgotten these laws, but likely ancient civilizations passed this knowledge down to us. The bearer of this knowledge, strange as this may seem, is the ancient language, the proto-language from which later languages like Sanskrit or Old Russian developed. In fact, Sanskrit is the ancient form of Russian, and linguists acknowledge this connection. It's not surprise since the Indian masters know that all the knowledge they have was once given them by white people from the north. They just prefer not talk about this. The daily life of people in ancient civilizations was very different from ours today. They didn't rely on religion. Instead, they had worldview based on understanding the laws of nature. They didn't have churches, but they had temples that served as schools where students were given living knowledge. As a result, they didn't have the ignorance present today. We tend to think of modern words as simple labels for objects or actions with no deeper meaning. But ancient language was a language of knowledge. Each letter or hieroglyph in the ancient alphabet represented a condensed image. A key, when seen, sparked entire images, concepts, and living visions in consciousness. The words of that language linked these images together and related revealed this understanding of the cosmic laws of nature. So it was a language of knowledge. That's why ancient word for education refers to creating images in a student consciousness. Images through which one perceives the unity of the world and its laws. Modern education, by contrast, is the opposite. It breaks the world into disconnected parts within the intellect, and the intellect receives fragmented information. That's why from the perspective of advanced civilizations, humanity and our planet is now in state of ignorance.
Oh, wow. You are definitely speaking my language, Alexander, and my audience, our audience knows this
Yeah.
about me. This is very exciting. What kind of examples can we give to them that help us to understand this knowledge and encoded in the ancient languages?
Yes, of course. The ancient words tell us that a stable society must first and foremost be built on the law of love. But this isn't the kind of love people usually discuss. The problem with modern humanity is that people no longer understand the true meaning of words. Many meanings have been distorted, and some have even been replaced with their opposites. This also applies to the word of love. Think about how many different things people call that word. Sometimes even surprising that people understand each other at all. So the true concept of love, speaking in mathematical terms, can actually be described by a simple formula. Love is a disjunction of negation. In other words, love is the exclusion of negation. That is, in your attitude towards the object of love, you exclude all negations. You're accepted fully and unconditionally. This means that in a perfect system, including society built on the principle of love, falsehood is completely absent. All relationships among members are based on trust. This is the most effective way to build social system. That's why in all advanced civilizations on the path of light, lying is considered a crime and is severely punished. Unfortunately, the principle of love is also vulnerable when the normal connection with spirit is broken, because love by itself is blind and weak. It becomes a powerful force only when combined with reason. That's why the current system does everything to convince you that love should be unconditional. Unconditional love is love without reason. If you accept this idea of unconditional love, you become weak and easily manipulated. So the idea that love is everything, or that love will save the world, along with the false belief that love means unconditional acceptance of everything, is completely false and contradicts the laws of nature. If it were true, for example, your body would love every microbe, parasites, or virus that entered it and let them do whatever they want. That would be like having no immune system at all. Actually, in medicine, tolerance means the complete lack of immunity in the body. The goal of the current system is to destroy your natural immunity given you by nature and to deprive you of consciousness. Love is not everything. Love alone cannot save the world. Unfortunately, our ancestors didn't understand this law well enough, which has led to the problems we face today. These examples show that the artificially imposed calls in modern religions, like love your enemy, turn the other cheek, you are God's slave, observe, don't interfere, are unnatural and violate the laws of nature. You should love those who deserve love and help those who do something to deserve help. Stay true on the principle of love, but also listen your conscience. This principle is universal. Think about how human body works. The whole organism supports any failing organ. Now imagine what would happen if this principle were ignored. If our cells started competing with and exploiting each other. Well, that's exactly how viruses and cancer cells behave, not healthy cooperative cells. The principle of love is so important that it appears in many ancient formulas. For example, the formula of justice states that a decision can only be considered just when it's based on the knowledge of the one and only truth, while being in state of love and in accordance with the laws of nature, guided by the voice of conscience. If even one of these conditions is missing, the decision is unlikely to be just. Another example is a true formula of happiness. According to the knowledge left by ancient civilizations, happiness can be real, whole, and lasting only when the following conditions are met. The system, society, and the part, each individual, must be in unity, love, and in the perception of the higher laws of the universe. This formula reveals another important fact. One could discuss what the parasitic social system on our planet has stolen from people, their evolutionary potential, their natural rights for land and its resources, their homes, the products of their labor, the right to accumulate information, the right for accurate information, free education, the lifespan, health, prosperity, and more. If you truly try, some of these stolen possessions might still be recoverable. However, there is one fundamental thing that the system has taken from everyone without exception, regardless of the status within it. It has taken away their happiness. As long as the parasitic social system exists, no one can truly be happy because it has destroyed all three key components of happiness: unity, love, and conscience. This truth, like many deep truths, is hidden in ancient words. The words of ancient language contain knowledge that is much deeper than it may seem. This knowledge is among the most important because it helps us understand the real nature of things. It's a knowledge of the main laws of nature. The current system doesn't want you to know about this. Over the centuries, they removed many letters from the alphabet, and along with them, many words, altered the meaning of words, and introduced many new words that lack profound meaning. But fortunately, many ancient words have still been preserved.
So, what do you think? Is it possible for civilization to return to its natural development path, or is it already too late?
Of course, it's possible because this path is a natural one. We just need to remove the interfering factors, and society will naturally return to normal functioning. After all, the laws of nature still operate. Additionally, returning to normal society is the only way to prevent social collapse and achieve true happiness. There is no other option. That's how the cosmic laws are designed. Since human consciousness has recently begun to awaken, I believe this process of returning to normal society free of falsehood has already started.
You've described the big picture really well, but can we offer some practical advice, some tangible advice in what actions can individuals take to help speed up their like society healing in general, but also make their lives more meaningful?
First of all, it's important to spend more time reconnecting with your higher self. Your spirit really knows what you truly need. When you restore this connection, it will start helping you in your daily life. You will begin noticing signals through your feelings, mainly through the sense of conscience, or through external events. You will start meeting the right people, and the right information will come to you in perfect moment. However, to reconnect with your higher self, you need to quiet your intellect, even for just a few minutes. It's not easy in modern society. To help you achieve a still mind, I can suggest a simple exercise that many find helpful. The intellect thinks in words. Now imagine that you've just been born only a few days ago. You don't understand human speech and don't know what words mean. You can only observe your surrounding and feel the energy of the people nearby. In this state, you won't need the intellect. It will be easy for you to experience this because you've lived it before, back when you entered this world just a few days old. Try this experiment and you will notice the difference.
That's wonderful, Alexander. Do you have any thoughts, Walter, before we close?
Lots. Yeah, we're at this weird point where we're 25 years into this new century, right? And into this new future. But it seems like we still have people that want to hang on to the recent past. And what I mean by that is like the last 30 or 40 years. So they want to go back. People just seem reluctant to go forward. And I think that they get anxiety and fear. Well, fear of the unknown, right, is always a big one. And you know, how do you think we get people to embrace the fact that we can move into a better future by embracing these principles? How do you think we can convince people that the future's okay?
Because going to a better future is natural process. It's supported by nature and by your spirit. You don't have to afraid anything. Just try to eliminate the interfering factors that move you away from this natural path of development of your consciousness, because everything is about development of your consciousness. That's the main purpose of your incarnation in this world.
True.
So because this way is natural, you have nothing to be afraid of.
Correct.
Yep, I agree.
So I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans because it's exciting news for us and you as well. So this book, The Civilization of Lost Connection, we're going to be publishing. So you're going to be able to find it for a great price as soon as we get it up and going. So stay tuned and we'll let everybody know. But for now,
the music of the divine spheres.
The music of the divine
music
sphere.
of the divine sphere.
Yeah, I'm getting my titles all jingled together. But that book is now available and for sale at your website, milovanovbooks.com. So go check it out, everybody. And there's also, if you check up on YouTube, you can find Alexander's channel under Spheres of Consciousness. And on that channel, you can find interviews and stuff, but also check out the wind chimes, because these are, I am just like so ecstatic somebody has made something like this. Nice. They are just, I can't wait for them to get on sale and to get some and others to get some, because I see that they're definitely going to be healing, have a healing effect on our bodies and our consciousness, help us obtain that higher consciousness. But we thank you so much for being here. Go ahead. Sorry.
These books reveal a lot of ancient knowledge, especially important knowledge about human consciousness, how it's constructed, how it's developing, and what you need to do to accelerate development of your consciousness. It's very important knowledge. Its knowledge came from ancient Egypt, from the first source, from the first hand. And you will find many interesting things there. For example, how sound and colors and proportions affect our consciousness, how they can generate different feelings, and many other interesting things. One important thing that all living beings, including our planet, has consciousness and has the levels of consciousness. And you will amazed that in some picture, these levels of consciousness in our planet has been exposed.
Agreed.
Yep.
I think it's silly to think that trees don't have a consciousness, or that all of our animals, living, breathing things, have consciousness that we can connect with. That's the key, that we can connect with these consciousness and receive information from them and give help and healing to them as well. It's a it's a wonderful thing.
I have a question, one last question. Do you think that the fact that we are conscious beings, that is what draws intelligences from other worlds to us? Possibly.
What mean from other worlds?
Yeah.
Planets,
Like the other
dimensions,
spheres.
what have you? Other
Extraterrestrials
worlds.
or other dimensions?
Yeah. Which one?
Whether it's other
Right.
planets or whether it's other dimensions. I mean, it is our consciousness part of what hypothetically, draws them to us? Or is it just the resources of our world?
Yes, both resources, but also our consciousness. You will be probably surprised, but our planet is very special, and
Mhm.
people here can achieve so high levels of consciousness that um, other civilizations try to learn a lot from us because they lost, for example, such ability for creativity as people have, and other unique feature of humans on this planet. And our planet is very special. That's why many civilizations still keeping watching us and trying to connect and learn something without interfering our unique path of evolutionary development.
Mhm. Great.
Unfortunately, those people who rules this planet, they don't understand this well.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
They've become ignorant, like we were talking about earlier. The ignorance is just pervasive.
Well, what we've been talking about, what you've been talking about, what you've written about is just not in their plan. See, they don't account for it in their plan for how they want the world to go.
Well, let me say this, like even just the very simple, what are the universal laws of nature, like we're talking about, is something so foreign to most people. They just don't have an understanding. But well,
Whoa.
I sure love, thank you so much for being here, Alexander. And everybody stay tuned because we will have Alexander back many times.
Yep.
And yeah, this is going to be a great journey that we take all together, everyone. And we sure appreciate you being here. Remember, please check out walterbosley.com because we have a huge sale going on.
Yes.
On November 1st. Those prices are going back up a little bit. So grab them now before they go back up again. But they won't go back up to full price until January. So
That's
we're
right.
giving time for Christmas.
All through that.
Yes. So get your Walter Bosley books right now at walterbosley.com. That's the place to buy them. Amazon and such, as you'll find, they're very expensive intentionally. So the reason for that is we don't want to support Amazon. We're not interested in supporting them. Yes, we understand we have to be there, but at the same time, come over and support the small publishers because that's where the free press is. So yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much again for being here,
Yeah,
Alexander.
thank you, Alex.
And
Thank you.
we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.